Okay, well, hi, I'm Marcella Hill. I'm in Utah, and I'm the mom of four. We have a blended family, and I'm an entrepreneur and kind of a go-getter. I've always had a lot of drive and excitement about life, and that I'm 42 now. So around 36, I started noticing no libido, and it was really starting to affect my marriage. And I went into my gynecologist, and a friend had mentioned, like, oh, that could be affected by hormones. You should go get them checked. So I went to my gynecologist because where else are you supposed to get your hormones checked, right? And she did my blood work, came back, said, you're kind of low in vitamin D. You could probably just take a vitamin D supplement, just, at the regular grocery store, pick some of that up. And other than that, you look fine. Everything's normal. And I was like, great. Now what? Like, do I just not like my husband? Maybe we need more dates, maybe some marriage therapy. So we did. We went to therapy. Again, and super helpful. I would always recommend therapy for anyone and everyone. I think that was extremely helpful, but it also doesn't like turn your body on, it doesn't turn the switch on. And so many years later, here I am, I'm 42. I had since gotten a partial hysterectomy due to a prolapsed uterus. My body ached all the time. I had stopped running. It's just everything got worse. I didn't know it was related. My legs would itch and itch every night. That's been going on for years. Just all these weird symptoms that I didn't know were up, one thing. And one weekend I found myself laying in bed, very kind of at the bottom of the barrel. And that's very unlike me. And quite frankly, it scared me. And I thought, okay, this is depression. You need to go talk to someone. And I reached out to a few friends and I said, where do I go for depression or whatever this is? And one of those friends said, did you ever call that hormone therapist that I mentioned? And I forgot that she had ever mentioned it. And I went to that person that week and started hormone therapy, and my life changed dramatically, even within the next few weeks after that.
Janet, I bet you have some comments about this.
I do. It's ringing a bell with me because so many times I've heard this story from women, unfortunately. And the sad thing about it is that sex between a couple isn't just the intimacy, it's also a communication. And so there's so much more than just the physical part of it. The mental and emotional in a relationship is huge. And so I've even had horror stories of, oh, you're fine, why don't you just use some lidocaine? Well, that didn't solve the problem. And it's unfortunate because, there's just some really easy things that we can do from just replacing something naturally in our body. And I think where you ran into the problem is you had no idea where to go, because the first place you went, you were said, oh, you're normal. And believe me, I've heard that too. I've heard, oh, you're just tired. You're a mom. You have a business. You're fine. Just, you're in the normal ranges of everything. Just, relax and things will work out. And that wasn't the case. And I'm hearing that from you loud and clear that, obviously you knew something had to change for you.
Yeah, I think I didn't know that this was a problem. I just thought it was my own personal problem. I thought it was me just not knowing where to go. And it just so happens I didn't have a community on TikTok. I had never spoken about women's health at all. I am in like a public speaking setting, but talking about motivation and joy and lifestyle and not anything to do with vitamins or health or supplements or anything like that. And I just shared my story just as hey, this happened and wow, isn't this crazy? And over the next few days, over 9 million people saw that. And it was like the matrix broke that I lived in, because I just had no idea. I didn't know that millions and millions of women were feeling the same way I did, and that they weren't getting help, and that they were just being completely told that feeling like crap was normal. I mean, I'm just here living in the world that you are in. I didn't know that women in general feel like crap. I did not know that. I didn't know that that was what we were doing here.
And why is it normal and okay?
I don't know. When did it become normal? I guess that's the question. Like, when were women like, at what point did we know that the girl next door felt the same way I did? You know, at what point did we know that this was happening in South Africa and Australia? Like, we're all just going to our doctor in a closed office with one-on-one person. There is no point in time that a whole group of us are saying what it is until now. And it's pretty crazy to see. It's a little overwhelming, quite frankly.
So let's talk about some of the things you mentioned. Depression. So Janet, let's talk about some of the things that we commonly see, like depression, and women are prescribed antidepressants, whether it be Prozac or Zoloft or Effects or whatever, and it's actually a hormone imbalance. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Right. So what always comes to mind for me is testosterone in women, especially when we're talking lack of libido, hard time sleeping, wanting to stay in bed. So it's not like you're missing an antidepressant. You're really missing the messenger giving our brain what we need for our neurotransmitters to work properly. And really, that's probably going to be testosterone for women. But there could be other hormones too. Sometimes it's even just a thyroid. But, we talk about other hormones. But what happens, I think, is that we word the word hormone and we think there's some bad connotations, or it's just with reproduction and that's it. But really the definition is that it's a messenger, right? And so it takes a message to our body to perform a function. And that's the missing link a lot of times for women. It's not that they need a depression or antidepressant. They need what their body normally and their ovaries were normally being able to make for them. And then that whole function was complete for most people. And so that's the missing link. And so many times we reach for a pharmaceutical to say, here, this will make you feel better. And a lot of times what ends up happening is they have less libido, they have less energy, and they're just more lethargic. And that wasn't the answer they were looking for when they went to their doctor's office.